Hello Year 5. Today's English lesson is a bit of a recap. So we're going to go through some of the previous work that we did on commas. We're going to recap using commas to clarify meaning, go through the answers to some of those questions, and then there'll be a bit of a follow-up task which will be 2 Kahoots. I'll give you the codes at the end of this video. So the first thing we'll look at is the mini test that followed on the assignment. Looks a bit like this. Okay, so question 1 was tick the sentences with meanings which could be changed with the addition of a comma. There was in fact 4 sentences here, 4 of the 5 that could be changed with the addition of a comma. And the first one, she found a mouse, trap and cheese all in the bucket as planned. Now we might read that as she found a mouse trap and cheese all in the bucket as planned, but we can add a comma in to make it a list. So she found a mouse, a trap and cheese all in the bucket as planned. The second one, we could use a comma here to change the meaning, because without the comma, David had said he didn't care, so as in David didn't care. With the comma and with the addition of some other punctuation, we could change it to say that David had said he didn't care, as in another person had said those words. Next one, we don't need a comma for that one. The fourth one, he asked for money in Lego for his birthday. Without the comma, it means that he asked for those 2 things for his birthday. If we add in the comma there, he asked for money, and then separately, he asked for Lego for his birthday. So you could say that he asked for money today and Lego for his birthday. Or you could say he asked for money, as in money for Christmas, and then Lego for his birthday in February. And with the last one, just as we had those quite funny examples, like, let's eat grandma, don't risk it, grandma. So 4 sentences there requiring the comma. The second question, the 2 parts of this, how do commas affect the meaning of these sentences? Explain briefly for each pair. Now I said you have to be specific here. What did the first one say? What does the second one say? Well, I've drawn a little picture for this one. As the sun shone orange, people desperately looked for shade. So there's the sun shining orange. The second one, though, as the sun shone, comma, orange people looked desperately for shade. There are the orange people there. So the difference there, we've got the orange sun, as the sun shone orange, how the sun is shining. But then we've got as the sun shone, comma, there's our subordinate clause, orange people look desperately for shade. That's an important thing to mention there, as subordinating conjunction both times. So we have a subordinate clause which is demarcated with a comma, separates it from the main clause. Now the second one, when he saw the pirate ship on the horizon, comma, again subordinate clause, the captain sounded the alarm. So in the first sentence, the pirate ship is on the horizon. However, in the second sentence, when he saw the pirate ship on the horizon, the captain sounded the alarm. The captain was on the horizon, not the pirate ship. So it changes the position there. Third question, add or remove commas to give these sentences the required meaning. Now the first one, writing, clearly, isn't easy, as in writing, the skill, the art, the task isn't easy, so the actual method or writing itself. However, the next one is more about the legibility, or how easy it is to understand. Writing clearly isn't easy, as in writing clearly, the ability to write clearly. The next one turns Jess from somebody with quite disturbing hobbies into somebody who's actually a little bit more normal, because hopefully Jess doesn't like baking cats. That sounds quite scary, but Jess likes baking, cats and doing ballet. And that turns a comma for a list there. And Debbie's heroes are her parents, Spider-Man and Catwoman. So in the first sentence, the one that's in black there, it tells us who Debbie's heroes are. That's a list there. Debbie's heroes are her parents, and then also Spider-Man and Catwoman. But we can change that, we can remove the comma for the list there. And say that Debbie's heroes are her parents, Spider-Man and Catwoman. They are her parents in that sentence. Wonder what superpower Debbie would have. Then there was this sheet as well that was attached to the assignment. All right, so the important thing here was explaining why the commas are being used. I went through some of those on the video on the previous lesson. We need to explain why the commas are being used. It's not just enough to say where the commas should be in the sentence. We need to explain why. Let's go through those now. So this sentence here should have had commas in here to separate the adjectives in a list for the expanded noun phrase. So they don't change the meaning of the sentence, but they do separate the adjectives. You know, when we've looked at expanded noun phrases with our writing, the rabbit had long, sharp, pointy teeth, we would use a comma or commas for lists in between those adjectives. The next one I mentioned previously, hopefully you can remember from what I've just said. As is the start of the sentence, which tells us that it is a subordinate clause. So we must have a comma in that separates the subordinate clause from the main clause. As the campers sat round the fire eating, comma, the bear stayed in the bushes. That's our main clause there. The bear stayed in the bushes. It says here, a comma is needed to separate the subordinate clause from the main clause and make it clear that the campers are not eating the bear. Never had bear before. Lucy wanted a biscuit, but she couldn't have one. That's quite a straightforward one there. Here we have a relative clause, though. David, who was 10, wore glasses. Surrounding the embedded clause, that's another way of describing a relative clause. We know it's a relative clause because it's got the verb in, was, and it's got the relative pronoun, who. Hetty dressed and performed for the packed audience. Now this is a good one. The comma in this sentence clarifies the meaning. Without it, it sounds as though Hetty getting dressed is part of the show. If we didn't have the comma, Hetty dressed and performed for the packed audience. Well, hopefully she was already dressed before she went out to perform. There was lots to do at the fair, including face painting and a raffle. Okay, so we are using the comma there to signify the additional information there. There was lots to do at the fair, and then giving some examples of what there was to do. Another subordinate clause here while the onions were cooking. There's the subordinate clause, and there's the main clause, and there's Sophie's toys falling over in the background. And in this one here, we've got more subordinate clauses. If you've got everything you need, comma. If you have got everything you need, then. Okay, there's a bit of a difference here because we've got separate the opening subordinate clause from the main clause in this complex sentence. There are two places though, as we've just seen, where the comma could go, and there'll be a slightly different meaning. The second one suggests that it has taken some time to get everything together. It's a bit more informal. If you've got everything you need, then we're ready to go. It might be something that we use in speech. Whereas the first one, if you've got everything you need, then we are ready to go. It changes the emphasis of the sentence. And this next one here, hang out the washing is one of the most boring things in the world. I can think of a few more boring things. This is a simple sentence which does not require commas. He was cold without his jacket even though the sun was shining. This sentence doesn't need a comma to clarify the meaning. You may use a comma to separate the main and subordinate clause. So he was cold without his jacket, comma, even though the sun was shining. It's not incorrect, but it's not required to clarify the meaning. Okay, so that's those questions cleared up, hopefully. Tasks to follow then. More practice using commas to clarify meaning. The first Kahoot code is below. This is also on the home learning page on the website and linked to the assignment on Teams. And the second code on the other side is there. Second one, a bit more of a challenge than the first. But as with the maths, the fractions Kahoots yesterday, there were 3 people received Head Teachers Awards for their high scores. I'll be keeping an eye out for who's scoring highly on these 2 Kahoots, and I would absolutely love to give out even more Head Teachers Awards after that. Thanks, bye for now.